scared of questions, I'm scared of answers. I'm scared of women that aren't dancers. I'm scared of failure, I'm scared of cancer. I'm scared of shit I can't control, scared of getting old.
Right, today we're going to be looking at this, which is the Happymodel Larva X HD. And I've got mine in the Crossfire edition, so it comes installed with TBS Crossfire receiver. And cards on the table. I asked for this to review because it's a quad that if I was spending my own money, I wouldn't have even considered. And that's why I thought it might be interesting to review it, because this guy is a Toothpick style quad. Although, to be honest, I hate that phrase. Kebab didn't invent Toothpick style quads. They've been going for years. You know, the Eachine QX95 or whatever I had 3 years ago was based on similar ideas. Super light, running 2S, 1S. You know, even using the same sort of gem fan style bi-blade props. But that aside, I thought it'd be interesting to review this guy for a couple of reasons. One, it's pretty pricey for Happymodel, and I sort of see the Happymodel brand as cheap fun rather than quality. And this particular model retails, I think, for about 149 quid, and some of the other ones with cheaper receivers retail for sort of 130. But either way, it's sort of heading towards the sort of money that you could buy, you know, a relatively cheap 5-inch BNF or something like that. So, you know, pretty serious bit of kit. And I kind of thought it was going to be interesting to see how Happymodel went about this. However, although this retails, as I said, for 140, 150 quid, when you actually break it down, it's not bad value, because a Crossfire receiver is 30 odd quid. You get two Tattoo 450 3S batteries, and these retail usually for about 9 quid each, so that's 18 quid. So when you actually look at the quad cost, it's still a relatively cheap little quad. It's just that they've bundled it up with quite expensive bits and bobs. And the selling point of this guy is it's got a Cadex baby turtle in it, so you will be able to do HD recording. So let's have a look. So you get some destructions, you get some prop guards. Nice that they included the OSD board. What else do we get? Props and standoffs and various bits and bobs. Screws and some zip ties. And we also get this, because this guy's party piece is that not only is it a Toothpick style 2.5-inch lightweight quad, but you can take this canopy off, install this 3D printed canopy and the prop guards, and it becomes what they call a cine quad. Although, in my opinion, all of these sort of little cine micro quads aren't really fit for purpose, because if you want to do cinematic footage, the one thing you really need is a really big stable platform, and preferably real steady or hyper smooth on a Hero 7, none of which these little guys will have. So what we have here is a lightweight, so with its props on and lipo strap, comes in at 63 grams with the receiver in it, so it's a pretty lightweight thing, but not as light as some out there. And with its prop guards and this canopy on, I believe it comes in at about 73 grams. So what we've got is a little 2.5-inch 2.5-inch frame. We've got a plastic canopy, and as I said, we've got a Cadex baby turtle, which you can see here, and there's the button to use it. We've got an F4 flight controller and 10 amp 4-in-1 ESCs, and on the top we've got this triangular VTX, which I think will go up to 200 milliwatts, and then we've got this sort of fake axis antenna on the back. And as I said, this one's running crossfire, but I mean, really, we're going to run crossfire like that? So immediate points deducted from lack of effort. And if you want to run one of these, what you really want to do is get this guy in sort of an L shape like that. So immediate impressions are, it's not a bad looking little quad. We've got little holes in the frame which don't seem to serve any purpose. I'm guessing the idea of that would have been that you would run your motor wires through and then under, and you can see the motor wires are connected up on this sort of whoop style board underneath, but they haven't been used for whatever reason. And this guy's running 12 or 3, what are they, 5,200 kV motors, which are relatively small actually for one of these. I would have expected sort of more maybe 1106 or something like that, 1204. So what we're going to do is we're going to get this guy in the air, because the thing that immediately worries me about a quad like this running the Turtle is, A, are we going to be able to see where we're going, because these things have a notoriously bad FPV image, and it's been quite a while since I've used one of these, so I don't know if that's been improved in the year or so since I last did. And I suppose the thing that I want to know is, are we going to get jello? Because if we get jello, it's going to kill this little guy completely. And if I was buying one of these personally, I would get it just with a standard micro camera in it. As I said, I don't really see the benefit of having HD footage on a quad that's likely to shake and rattle, as opposed to being, you know, lovely and smooth. But I might end up eating my words. So where do we start? Motors are nice and smooth. The props, somewhat rarely I've found. These ones are actually well balanced. I've been through tons of sets of these on my Tiny Hawk Freestyle, and loads of them, especially the HQ ones, are pretty much unusual. But the quad itself, as you can see, it flies okay. There's not too much jello, although this is a really cloudy day. So, you know, fair play to that. But I can't really enjoy this quad in any way and call it anything other than a giant failure. And that's not even Happymodel's fault. That is the fault of the Cadex baby turtle that is in this quad. And sadly, the Cadex baby turtle ruins any pretensions that this quad might have of being a fun little fast park flyer, because you literally cannot see where you're going. Unless you're flying in an open field with one tree to fly around, you can't see anything. Maybe it gets better on a really nice sunny day. Certainly my experience with these split style cameras is that it will do. But living in the UK, where it's quite often overcast and cloudy, it's just unflyable. You can see in this footage here, I tried to fly it outside my house under street lights, and I could fly for all of 3 feet before I just landed in the middle of the road because I couldn't see a damn thing. And this is the first quad that I've ever not been able to fly down my street. I could do that happily with the Modular 6, all the other quads, and as you can see here, this is the Tiny Hawk Freestyle with a what has it got in it? A Foxeer Nano V4. That can see absolutely fine under street lights. But no matter how well this quad flies, it's just not flyable with this absolutely awful camera. The minute you try and go near trees, under trees, near scraggle, you might as well just close your eyes and hope for the best, because that's essentially all you'll be able to see. The other issue with it is this VTX claims to be 200 milliwatt, but it suffers the worst and poorest reception I've had of any quad with a 200 milliwatt VTX probably in my flying time. The initial DVR was me testing a TrueD V4, and then I switched over to rapid fire, and both receivers just were just awful with this guy. It just is an absolutely awful VTX. So, given that this quad with its crossfire unit costs 149 quid, and in fairness it comes with a couple of Tattoo 75C 3S batteries, which are probably worth about 18 quid, and obviously the crossfire unit crossfire receiver is another 30 odd quid. You're probably looking at sort of 95 quid of quad. The Cadex Turtle is 50 quid. So basically the budget that Happymodel have thrown at this is, you know, the remaining 45 or 50 quid. And sadly, that's probably the best part of it. Remove the Cadex Turtle and stick in, you know, the aforementioned Foxia Nano, or, you know, a runcam Nano 2 or Nano 3, or even Cadex's own Kangaroo, and this would have been a different review. The quad would have been lighter, so it would have been more efficient. This thing seemed to be pretty heavy on its batteries, on the 450 batteries. It did fare better on my own 550s, and I was getting sort of 4.5-5 minutes, but on the rather crappy Tattoo 75Cs that it comes with, you were looking more at 3.5 minutes, which sounds fine until you get out this guy, which costs about 85 quid, and albeit mine's got upgrades on it, this guy will get happily 5 minutes flight time, and it's, you know, the best part of 15-20 grams lighter and flies infinitely better. And in terms of flight performance, it didn't have the feel for me. It didn't have particularly bad characteristics. There wasn't a huge amount of prop wash. It handled quite sort of abruptly, as these things tend to do, but it just didn't have the feel that this guy has. But that could be tuned out. But if you're unfortunate enough to have one of these on the way, or, you know, you got one for Christmas or whatever, just get rid of this camera. And if you get rid of the camera, probably change the VTX and this awful antenna. Beneath all that, there's probably a really sweet flying quad. The motors are surprisingly smooth. They put out decent power. The quad itself isn't short of punch or speed, although the canopy does restrict the camera angle, and because these things are so light, even running at sort of 45-degree camera angle like that in a larger space like I was in, you would want to go even higher, because you kind of need to get the nose of these guys down to gain forward momentum without gaining altitude all the time. So yeah, so really disappointed with this. It's not worth the money. The Cadex Turtle needs to die, and, you know, in this baby form, the lens is too small. It can't take in enough light, and even the bigger turtles and runcam splits have this horrible muddy, can't see where you're going FPV feed, and that is just magnified on this much smaller camera. So yeah, sorry Happymodel. I loved your Mobula 6, but this guy is absolutely awful because of the camera and your VTX. So that is my review. Don't buy this. Cheers guys. Thanks. Bye bye.